this conference committee to order, please. We're here to discuss House Bill 2005, known as the hot water bill. And we non-concurred because of the changes the Senate made. And we have looked those over. Would you care to explain them any further, or are you okay?
Well, we wanted to come to conference. No, first we want to thank you for this bill. I think it really fills a void of these hotels. These people shouldn't be inspected. So I think it's a great bill. One of the things we would like to look at adding, let me find it here, 181 to it. It's the elevator bill. Mike, I don't know if you got a little background on it, if you want to explain the bill. But it passed out of the Senate last year, 32-7. I think it's a pretty companion bill. It's something we'd like to get into effect. Mike, just kind of give an overview of
it. This bill was actually referred to in the House to the Federal and State Affairs Committee, and it passed out of that committee, but it did not get worked on the floor. It's still on the floor, though. Anyway, what it does is it establishes the Elevator Safety Act. The definitions are in Section 2. There are some exclusions from what an elevator is. Section 3 provides that an elevator should not be constructed, installed, or operated, and so on, unless it's according to this act. There's some exclusions, again, from what would be from this particular requirement of the act. There's a provision that city and counties that have their own requirements would not have to follow this particular act and so on, as long as their requirements were the same or exceeded what the state fire marshal's requirements would be. There's a license requirement that anybody that wants to be involved with the erection, construction, alteration, or repair or removal, dismantling of an elevator would have to have a license, licensed elevator contractor. Again, there's a provision that no individual shall inspect any elevator within a building or other structure in the state unless the individual is a licensed elevator inspector. It would not apply again to cities and counties. So there's throughout the bill, if a city and a county has requirements for elevator inspectors and contractors that are the same or exceed the state requirements, that they would not be covered by this act. There is on Section 6 of the bill, there's an elevator safety advisory board that's established, 7 members appointed by the governor, 1 representative from a major elevator manufacturing company and so on, 1 rep from an elevator servicing company, 1 rep from an architectural design, and so forth. It goes on. 1 representative for the general public, 1 member appointed by the President of the Senate, 1 member appointed by the Speaker of the House. The State Fire Marshal is an ex officio member. The Secretary of Administration or designee is an ex officio member, and so on. And these members shall serve without compensation. They shall advise the State Fire Marshal, make recommendations regarding rules and regulations necessary to enforce the provisions of the Act. Section 7 of the bill establishes a license, requires a license fee, and so on. The section, again, there's a city and county exception. Section 8 requires proof of insurance for those that are involved in this business. Section 9 provides for a temporary license if there's an emergency where there's a disaster, act of God, and so on, and you don't have enough elevator folks that are licensed to deal with situations. Section 10 deals with the power of the State Fire Marshal to basically discipline those that are either in deny a license or suspend their license if they don't comply with the act. Section 11 establishes civil penalties for violations of the act and so forth. The construction permits, you can't, on Section 14, you can't construct an elevator without a valid construction permit and so on. There are some other provisions of the bill, but you get the gist of it. If you want, I'll try and explain more.
And we, on the original bill, 2005, we'd be willing to go back to the statute book, do that, to change it to the register.
And
Hey, Mike, can you explain the House amendments a little bit?
Sup note of the bill and so on.
Yeah.
If you look, and the sup note's actually longer than the bill. The beginning on page 18 of the sup note, it tells you what the Senate committee did in terms of modifying the definition of elevator to exclude dumbwaiter, conveyor, or chain, so on, increasing the number of members of the meetings of this advisory board and so forth. The Senate Committee of the whole adopted an amendment to exempt cities and counties with standards meeting or exceeding those, actually clarified that was already in the bill. The House Committee amendments then are described on page 20 of your sup note, require the issuance of a elevator mechanical license to applicants upon completion of certain apprenticeship and certification programs, require issuance of a mechanic's license if they hold a valid out-of-state elevator license having standards that are substantially equal, and requiring the issuance of an elevator mechanic's license demonstrating that the first year following the enactment of the act that the applicant has worked as an elevator mechanic without supervision for at least 8,000 hours and make technical amendments and so on. So
Okay, that answered. Thank you.
looking through this, your recommendation, the one thing that they both fall in the jurisdiction of the fire marshal. And with the change back to statute in 2005, we discussed it. We don't have any problem with it inserting this into the bill.
Well, I think we've got an agreement then.
Any questions?
We probably got to bring our Democrat colleagues up to speed of what happened.
I'll go ahead and prepare the conference committee report. And I'm not sure.
Actually, why don't we explain? Morning.
We'll ask Representative Vaughn if she has any questions right quick.
Yeah, why don't you start with your representative and I'll bring Senator.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I followed along with most of that. I believe it's Chairman Olson. I struggled to hear a little bit, but from my understanding, I'm okay moving forward as is.
Okay, thank you, Representative Vaughn.
And we've come to agreement to do that. So we're going to take their bill back to statute book, insert 181 into 2005. And we agree on that. Mike's going to write the report up and we'll be looking for signatures.
Thank you, Senator.
Thank you.
We're done.
I might just point out that the 2005 was originally in the register and it was amended to be the statute book. So I'll leave it in the statute book if that's, or do you want it?
That's me.
Okay.
Some time to Thank you.
Thank you.